General Hospital villain Drew Cain was shot twice during the September 2, 2025 episode of the show by an unknown assailant, but it's becoming clear that he knows who put those bullets in his back. Drew, Cameron Matheson, has made so many enemies lately that nearly everyone in his life could be a suspect for his shooting. However, Drew wants to frame his nephew, Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, so that he can get his girlfriend, Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, Michael's ex-wife with whom he had an affair, full custody of her and Michael's children, Wiley, Viren Weaver, and Amelia. Drew has also made enemies of several other Port Charles residents, including Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watrose, Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota, Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, Portia Robinson, Brooke Kerr, Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Gron, and Stella Henry, Vernie Johnson. However, Willow was recently arrested for committing the crime. Drew was fixated on blaming Michael for his shooting before Willow's arrest, but now he's even more determined to achieve this goal. In addition, his behavior is very suspicious. Although Drew was shot in the back and didn't see his shooter, it's highly possible that he does know who shot him. Drew might have hired someone to shoot him in order to frame Michael image via ABC. Drew will stop at nothing to get revenge on Michael, as evidenced by the way he's used Wiley against him. He convinced Wiley that Michael didn't want him anymore, which was despicable behavior by an adult towards a child. In addition, when Michael was in a burn unit in Germany recovering from his accident, Drew paid a nurse to tell Willow that Michael refused to see her when she went to visit him to try to work out a custody agreement. It wouldn't be surprising if it was revealed that Drew hired someone to shoot him who'd know exactly where to fire the bullets so that they wounded him, but didn't kill him, so that he could frame Michael. He's so obsessed with putting Michael in prison that he'd do anything to make it happen. Drew would even risk his own life if it meant that Michael would pay. Drew cares more about framing Michael than who really shot him image via ABC. Drew seems to know that Michael didn't actually shoot him because he's always saying that he'll pretend that he remembered that he did it. However, he's suspiciously unconcerned about who really did. He doesn't seem to want to solve the crime, but instead is content with leading the police down the wrong path to Michael. Drew is even ready to lie to the police in order to take Michael down. It's a wonder, though, that Drew isn't afraid that the actual shooter will return to finish the job. He doesn't seem to care about who really tried to kill him, which is strange considering that his attacker is still on the loose. However, this could be because Drew knows exactly who shot him because he hired the person who did it. Drew doesn't have security around him because he's not worried about the shooter credit, ABC via Moviestills DB. As a congressman who's been shot, Drew should have security protecting him wherever he goes, but he never does. In fact, he boldly enters the homes and workplaces of the suspects who could have shot him, including the Quartermain mansion where Michael lives, without a care for his safety. Michael has punched Drew in the face, and Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, even kicked his cane out from under him, causing him to fall to the floor, but Drew doesn't seem bothered enough by this violence to hire a bodyguard. This would also explain why there's no security or doorbell camera footage of the shooter entering Drew's home. He disabled it so that he could frame Michael for the crime.